Hello! My name is Meerah, and I am a Lorekeeper in one of Yogg-Sothoth's libraries, and today I wanted to talk about one of the many fascinating locations in the Lovecraft mythos. Today we will be discussing the Plateau of Leng. The Plateau of Leng first appeared in H.P. Lovecraft's 1922 short story, Celiphice. It would later feature in a multitude of other Lovecraftian stories, such as The Hound, The Fungi from Yuggoth, The Whisperer in Darkness, At the Mountains of Madness, The Horror in the Museum, Through the Gates of the Silver Key, Out of the Eons, and of course, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. The location of Leng is a long debated topic. Lovecraft himself even places it in both Central Asia during The Hound and in the northern Dreamlands in The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. Also by Lovecraft, the 1936 story At the Mountains of Madness, which follows a Miskatonic University expedition to Antarctica, where the team is searching for an ancient Elder Thing city, which they do find, but the Plateau of Leng and a great old one are both also implied to exist in Antarctica. Abdul al-Hazrad, the author of the Necronomicon, also a product of Lovecraft's work, describes it as a place where different realities converge, which might explain why its precise location can never be pinned down. In the Pathfinder role-playing game, Leng is stated to be a demiplane, or a pocket dimension, like my library. Alan Moore of the Neonomicon claims that Leng is a projection into a higher mathematical space, but the general consensus among Lovecraft and his peers is that the Plateau of Leng is a location in the Dreamlands, and that's the context in which we will be discussing it today. Whether it exists simultaneously in multiple places at once is not necessarily for me to speak on. The Plateau of Leng is described as an arid, cold, and windy place. In the Dreamlands, it is located near Kadath in the cold waste of the north. It was once home to the Elder Things and the Spiders of Leng. The Spiders of Leng are a sentient arachnid species that can grow larger than an elephant and have no qualms about cannibalizing its own kind. They once controlled the entire plateau, but after a long war with the Men of Leng, were finally defeated and driven into the southern mountains, where they still reside today. The Men of Leng are humanoid and intelligent creatures, their physical appearance reminiscent of fauns or satyrs from Greek and Roman mythology. They have hooves instead of feet and excessive body hair or fur. The Men of Leng are well known for their place in the Dreamlands as merchants, but how they came into that trade is a sad story, or at least I think it's sad. When the moon beasts first arrived in the Dreamlands, the Men of Leng worshipped them as gods. The moon beasts then in turn conquered and enslaved them, using them to complete manual labor and basic menial tasks. Some would become merchants and travel to dylath-leen, where they peddle the rubies produced in the moon mines. The unluckiest of the Men of Leng, however, those with the most meat on their bones, would be used as a food source by the moon beasts. Now, the plateau has a few distinct locations, such as the lighthouse, which is said to strike fear into the heart of any man that sees it, in the monastery. The monastery is surrounded by gigantic stone monoliths, has labyrinthine corridors, and houses murals that tell the story of the plateau's peoples and their history. As far as anyone knows, only one living being resides here at the monastery, known as the High Priest Not to be Described. And now I'm going to describe him. The priest is also called the Elder Hierophant, or the Chocho Lama of Leng, which implies that the priest is a Chocho. The Chocho people are another Lovecraftian race, and while their physical traits are different from the Men of Leng, their cultures are similar enough that it could be understandable to mistake one for the other in like obscure historical texts or descriptions. So the priest could be Chocho, or he could be a Man of Leng. We're not really sure because no one's really seen him. Only ever really described as wearing a yellow silk robe and a yellow silk mask covering his face. And yeah, we don't know too much about like the physical characteristics of the Plateau of Leng. It just seems like a very desolate and cold place. It's also thought to be the place that Ithaqua was born. So yeah, that's about all we know about the Plateau of Leng. Thank you so much for watching. An extra special thank you to my channel members as always. May Yah grant them the knowledge they seek. And I hope to see you next time here in the library.